Today, I have 5 top tips for typographic logo design that will help you create better typography logos. Also, at the very end of the video, we're going to be looking at AC3, who are sponsoring today's video. They've built a private blockchain entirely for content creators and online educators. What is up, people? Welcome back to Satori Graphics, the home of graphic design content right here on YouTube. Today, thanks to the voters on my Instagram poll, I have 5 tips for designing typographic logo designs that you should always take into account when designing a typographic logo. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, look up Satori Graphics to keep up to date with things over there. The first top tip for designing a typographic logo is add a small but subtle touch that makes the logo totally unique and stand out. So let me demonstrate here. We will talk about font selection a little bit later in the video, but let's say this logo here is for a media company. I can replace the E in the video with a play symbol, and that will make the logo have a slight edge of uniqueness about it. So using the polygon tool, I can create a triangle with a stroke only. I can then rotate it by 270 degrees and then round off the edges with the live corners. You can also head up to Effect and round corners at the very top. Adding a clever but subtle touch that relates to the context of the brand or the logo really gives a logo character and makes it more memorable in the minds of people viewing it. Kerning relates to the space in between letters. So if you open up the type window in Illustrator, you will find the kerning values in the bottom right of the box. We can then bring in the kerning right down to see if that looks better, or we can increase it by quite a bit. For this logo design in particular, I prefer the kerning to be bigger. It's best to play around with these values to suit the brand and the feel of the logo design. Later in the video, I'm going to show you advanced kerning for typographic logo designs. And to complete that subtle touch I was talking about earlier, I'm going to change the color of the play symbol. This is sometimes tricky, but if you want to design a typographic logo, you basically have 2 choices essentially. Either design the typeface yourself from scratch, or use an existing font. If you want to use an existing font, you must make sure that you've either purchased the license, or it's a font that's free to use for commercial use. But what you must consider is how the font relates to the brand identity. Fonts express a feeling or mood simply by the way they appear. So you wouldn't want to use a friendly and playful font for a funeral director's business, for example. I like to duplicate the logo several times and then play around with the fonts to see what works best. It's a good idea to take your time to match up the brand's identity to a style of font for your typographic logo. We talked about kerning earlier in the tutorial, but this next tip on designing a typographic logo is manual kerning. This, in my opinion, is essential for any logo design. First, create the outlines on your typography and then group everything so the lettering can be moved around individually. Now, you can simply select each letter and nudge them left or right with the arrow keys on your keyboard. If you zoom out with Command or Control and the minus key, you can get a better feel of the kerning. I personally like to try and unfocus my eyes to feel the negative space on the typography. The idea is to keep the logo visually appealing but also legible. This last tip on designing a typographic logo design is really helpful when it comes to this style of logo. Once you've aligned everything with the rulers and so forth, you may notice anomalies or rough parts to the logo type. But first, just make sure you have everything outlined as well as the strokes, like I'm doing here on this play symbol. This will turn the stroke into a shape. But once your logo is outlined and aligned, check for areas like this on your typography. There are two quick and easy ways to resolve such issues. The first method is to select the letter and then take the smooth tool. You simply click once on the anchor point and watch as the vector smoothens up. It really does help with things like rounded edges on a typographic logo design. I will use it again here on the D. You can also take the direct selection tool and utilize the live corners like so. If you go over your entire typographic logo with these two tools, you will make sure everything is smooth and crisp. I'm quickly going to talk to you about AC3's blockchain, and then after that, I have Satori's graphic design tip of the day. Firstly, you can download the AC3 software via the link in the description. I've already done that, and here is the app up and running on my system. It's ready to receive and send crypto AC3s, which I'm going to explain a little bit later. AC3 explain what they're doing here. They've built a private blockchain that's similar to Bitcoin, but which is exclusive for content creators and educators, such as myself. It's kind of like Patreon, but it's decentralized like any crypto blockchain is. They have a proof of creation feature that will allow content creators to own the rights to all of their produced content, which always instills security. Starting in early 2018, creators such as myself will be able to send out exclusive content via the AC3 app to audiences that use a decentralized wallet. AC3 wants to move away from corporations and banks that we rely on today and help to give some independence to creators and their audiences. Lastly, we will be able to exchange the AC3 currency for Bitcoin and other cryptos on the market at the time. So in case you want to find out more about AC3 and their plans for 2018, head over to their site via the link in the description below, and maybe also download the wallet today. You can see their mission as well as the featured creators who have already signed up. I myself have the wallet, and I'm going to be looking to utilize it in the future. I feel it will be a safe way to connect with my audiences that moves away from the big corporations who own a monopoly over things on the internet. It's easy to download, and you can download the wallet on macOS as well as Windows. Today's Satori bonus tip relates to the customization of typography, which seems fitting in today's video on top tips for typographic logo design. Here is a sped up version of highlights on the most recent and most in-depth upload on my channel relating to customizing typography in Adobe Illustrator. It's linked in the top right corner of the screen. When designing a logo using only typography, it's important that the font or the logo type is unique. Not only for legal reasons, but also so the logo stands out and it's like nothing else out there. So never be afraid to get creative and playful with your typography, and use the techniques I show in this video. So I hope you enjoyed today's upload on top tips for typographic logo design. If you did, show some love by liking and sharing this video to somebody else. Remember to subscribe for weekly graphic design content, and until next time, design your future today. Peace.